There's a moment just before you fall asleep when everything becomes quiet. No noise, no pressure, no expectations, just you and your awareness. In that moment, something feels different, like the world you've been holding on to all day isn't as solid as it seemed, like something about reality is slightly off. But by morning, you forget. You wake up, step back into the routine, and everything feels normal again. Familiar, predictable, safe. But what if that feeling, that quiet realization you almost touched, was actually the truth? What if the life you're living every day is only a small part of what's really there? Because the truth is, most people never stop long enough to question it. They move through life seeing, reacting, believing, without ever asking, is this really real? And maybe that's the reason you've never noticed it, not because it isn't there, but because you were never looking for it. What if I told you you've never actually experienced reality, not even once? Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you believe is happening right now feels real, solid, immediate, certain. But what if I told you you've never actually experienced reality? Not even once. Not directly. Not the way you think you have. Right now, your brain is doing something extraordinary. It is taking in fragments, light, sound, sensation, and stitching them together into something that feels like a complete world. But that world is happening inside you, not out there, inside. You don't see objects, you see light bouncing off surfaces, translated into signals. You don't hear sounds, you interpret vibrations in the air. You don't feel reality, you reconstruct it. Every second, your brain is guessing, predicting, filling in gaps. It edits, it filters, it simplifies. It creates a version of reality that is useful, not necessarily true. And the strangest part? You've trusted this version your entire life, never questioning it, never stepping outside of it, because to you, it's all you've ever known. But if what you see is a construction, if what you feel is a translation, then what exactly is reality? And how much of it are you actually missing? Your brain is not a camera. It's not passively recording the world around you. It's an active creator, a storyteller, a prediction machine. Before you even become aware of what you're seeing, your brain has already decided what it thinks is there. It uses memory, past experiences, beliefs you didn't even realize you formed. And from all of that, it builds a version of reality that makes sense to you. Not necessarily what is, but what is familiar, This is why two people can stand in the same place, witness the same event, and walk away with completely different experiences because they are not seeing the same world. They are seeing their own interpretations of it, their own mental constructions. One sees opportunity, another sees fear, one sees beauty, another sees nothing at all. So who is right? Or better yet, what if both of them are wrong? What if reality itself exists beyond both of their perceptions, unfiltered, uninterpreted, unseen? And what you experience every day is just a simplified version your mind allows you to handle. Because the truth is, if you saw everything as it truly is, it might be too much, too complex, too overwhelming. So your brain protects you by limiting you. From the moment you were born, you began learning how to see the world, not just how to walk or talk, but how to interpret everything around you. What things mean, what is good, what is bad, what is possible, what is not. And none of these ideas came from you. They were given to you by your environment, your family, your culture, your experiences. And slowly, without realizing it, you built a filter, a lens through which you now see everything. And that lens has been shaping your reality ever since. It decides what you notice, what you ignore, what you believe is true, and what you dismiss. It tells you who you are and who you are not. But here's the part most people never question. What if that version of you is just another construction? A story repeated so many times, it started to feel real? Because if your reality is filtered and your identity is learned, then who are you without those filters? Who are you without the story? And what would the world look like if you saw it without everything you've been taught to believe? Now imagine this. You live inside a system that constantly feeds you information, endless noise, endless distraction, screens, notifications, opinions, a world that never stops moving, never gives you time to pause, to reflect, to question, because the moment you stop, the moment you sit in silence, something uncomfortable begins to surface. Awareness, and awareness changes everything. So instead, you stay occupied, scrolling, watching, reacting, consuming. Not because you chose to, but because it's easier. Easier than facing the unknown. Easier than questioning what you've always accepted. Because if you start to question reality, you might start to question everything. Your beliefs, your identity, your purpose. And that can feel destabilizing. So the system keeps you busy, not necessarily to control you, but to keep you from seeing too clearly. Because clarity can't be controlled. And once you begin to see, you can't unsee. So what happens when you begin to see through it? When you realize that reality is not as solid as it seems? At first, it feels unsettling, like the ground beneath you is shifting, like everything you thought was certain is now uncertain. Instead of blindly trusting them, you begin to see the difference between what is and what your mind is telling you about it. And in that space, something powerful emerges. Freedom. Not freedom from the world, but freedom within it. Because you are no longer completely trapped inside the story. You can observe it, understand it, even reshape it. And maybe, you don't fully escape the illusion, but you become aware of it. And that awareness changes everything. Because the moment you realize that you are not just experiencing reality, you are participating in its creation, is the moment you begin to see. And maybe this is where everything begins to shift. Not when you finally understand reality, but when you realize you were never meant to rely on your own perception alone. Because the truth is, your eyes can be deceived, your mind can be conditioned, your reality can be shaped without you even knowing. But there is something deeper than what you see, something untouched by illusion, something constant beyond the noise. Scripture says in Jeremiah 17:9, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?" Meaning, even the place you trust the most, your inner world, can lead you away from truth. And in Proverbs 3:5-6 it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." Because maybe reality is not something you are meant to fully control, but something you are meant to see clearly through a higher light. Not just through your mind, but through truth, through something greater than your perception. And that is where clarity begins. Not when everything makes sense, but when you stop trusting only what you see and begin to seek what is real beyond it. Because there is a difference between what appears to be true and what is true. And maybe the journey isn't about escaping reality, but about aligning with the truth that exists beyond your version of it. So the next time you look at the world, pause. Not everything is as it seems. Not everything you feel is final. And not everything you believe is true. Because beyond your thoughts, beyond your perception, there is a deeper reality. One that does not shift. One that does not bend. One that simply is. And maybe that's what you've been searching for all along. This isn't something you fully understand in one moment. Maybe it's something you begin to notice slowly in the way you think, in the way you see, in the way you question things you once accepted. Because awareness doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives quietly. Like a thought you can't ignore. Like a feeling you can't explain. And once you notice it, you start to see differently. Not everything changes at once, but something inside you does. This is what Earthly Tone Thought is about. Not giving you answers, but helping you see what was always there. Stay aware and look deeper. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more self-awakening.